GM everyone. I think Max is having some trouble with his microphone. Hope I am audible. All right. Yep. Hey everyone. Let's get started with today's flash call. We have some interesting things to cover, which is the V2 testing, passkeys, and the alpha group that we're gonna start. Max, are you able to recover or
You
not?
got me now on the laptop. You hear me all right?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, I apologize for that. We will be moving forward irregardless, mic or not. I have no idea what happened. Something at the last second just kicked the mic off. But yes, we have some interesting things to cover this week. Of course, if you have never been here before, this is Flash Hour. Flash Hour is essentially where we go over everything related to Flash Trade, what we got done this week, and then, of course, what we are going to be getting into, as in, what does the timeline look like for Flash Trade? So typically, it's something in the near future that we are working towards right now, although we do share some bigger visions as well. Then there's a little section, Flash Overview, that essentially we just want to share something interesting that we have done that we just want to highlight. So that's Flash Overview. First things first, to allow all of you to get your coffee, to sit down, to relax. We do, and allow everyone to funnel in. We do actually go through State of the Trenches, which is what we are getting into now. So, State of the Trenches, right off the bat, Solana economic activity surpasses 1 trillion in Q1 2026 for the first time ever, which is quite a milestone for a new financial system.
Yep.
In my opinion, 1 trillion is kind of that gold standard that we needed to pass to say that we're here. We're out of beta, right? Because there's still mainnet. What is it? Mainnet beta. So yeah, we've been battle tested. As you can see, that's still going on now. Unfortunately, with all the hacks and everything that's going on, both in Ethereum and Solana, everybody stay safe out there, of course. But these are the growing pains of a new financial system. Helium Network daily users surpasses 3.4 million. Wow. I have to
Interesting.
admit, one of the use cases I was not didn't have on my bucket list, but I guess it makes sense now. Hindsight is Helium Mobile. What a massive use case that ended up really, really playing out well. Pre-stocks volume surpasses 750 million. We talked about this last week. Obviously liquidity and everything else that's there from pre-stocks. Anas duly and rightfully highlighted the limitations of pre-stocks, because essentially pre-stocks is someone who has the stocks already selling it to somebody who wants it, stocks that are not available on the open market. So just by sheer nature of that, there is going to be limited liquidity. So and there's obviously no price discovery yet for those. So interesting use case though for blockchain, that we do have that already available to Solana users. DFlow unveiled Agent CLI for automated spot equity and prediction market execution. Obviously, we're moving into the agentic AI era, so it's just really nice to see projects. I'm hoping that they're going to be adopting the MCP kind of route, but that'll be probably a slower adoption, more setup, more there needs to be more thought put into the MCP rather than CLI. So, but yeah, CLI is still really good, and still a really good option for local agents that are operating on your laptop. Let's see, Titan. Oh yeah, Titan. So the Titan Dart API is in public beta. What do you think about Titan? I really love Titan. I think it's great that there's another option out there, you know, besides Jupiter.
for sure. To be honest, on the Dart side, I didn't get a chance to look into how powerful it is because overall, given the things that we are using on Flash, I think we have been sufficed with the Jupyter's API that we access overall,
Hmm.
but still need to get some time and try out Dart. We've been pretty much you know bugged out with the V2 deployment, so uh, wholly in that. And overall, the things that are happening across the ecosystem, I see you skipped what happened with Aave and Kelp DAO.
I might have done that on purpose. Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, if you want to get into it, that's totally fine. I just didn't want to bring it in, but absolutely, if you want to talk about it, flush it out. If you have more details on it too, the big reason why I skipped it is I just don't have the granular details to really talk about it in any depth or any meaningful manner.
Yep. So Kelp DAO is a restaking protocol which basically takes your staked ETH and makes it repurposed for specific validators. And they had this system of bridging the staked ETH across other chains using layer zero's infrastructure. And the problem was the validators that basically signed the signatures as proofs to mint on other chains. There was only one signer for these system nodes, layer zero nodes. So basically what a node does is like it basically signs off that you are locking this much amount of tokens on main chain and then issuing x amount of tokens on the other chain, could be any chain, even Solana as well. So the layer zero infrastructure is very wide. It basically covers all the layer twos and the blockchains that are live. And it was supposed to make things easier for anyone to deploy their assets cross chain. But given the way everyone has overlooked the structure of one signing system, now we see very much devastating effects of it. And even we were able to understand how slightly like Aave took security, although they are like the biggest DeFi protocol. They allowed people to use these assets, which could be minted in unlimited amount just because it was locked behind one signature. And that is how now we are seeing a loophole of about $290 million, which becomes second biggest hack in our history of DeFi. Very, very sad and very devastating effect. And overall, it all comes down to the number of barriers we put in and how we spread across the security overall. And the low number of people that are securing things, the less secure it becomes. And that is what we have seen with Drift this month, starting this month, and now similar with Layer Zero. And I think all comes down to how important we all need to look into things and have you know closer look at everyone's structure and question everything. Even at Flash, I think people can go ahead and question everything around what we have built and how we are functioning. But yeah, I think that is the message
Yeah,
here about being more proactive and questioning everything that is live.
absolutely, and quite a few learnings as well here for us, especially in context of our upcoming launches. Magic blocks also kind of being a sort of an extension, which kind of has the same security implications as the base layer. So there are a lot of things for us to also retrospect on. But I think the bigger takeaway from this has been the kind of miscoordination we saw between the protocols, be it Aave, Kelper, or Layer Zero, not seeing a confirmed postmortem report, for 24 hours wasn't very reassuring, even for our current pools. I think we have had assets which with XAUT, the gold token backing pool 2, being one of the uh, wider contingency plan where they also use layer 0. So we had questions, and glad to see the final confirmation earlier today that not all configurations with layer 0 DVNs are affected. So that was a nice call, and we have had our own contingency plan in case of assets going bust, and like our pools being immune to such shocks. So there are a lot of things that need to be uh, discussed in public, and all protocols being held accountable for the quality of assets we put up in pools, and how the plan would how protocols would react to such conditions, especially when things can go vary in like super short amount of time. So I think that's where contingency plans and response strategies are going to be a lot more in in focus as we move forward. And I think that would be the biggest learning to take.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. The I have my mic in front of my face just because it's a habit. I'm not talking into my mic. Yes, couldn't agree more. There was definitely over the weekend. There's just like a lack of information from like the core team, there was a ton of information coming out from others, which is the only real way I was able to follow along. That's why I kind of said like I don't know all the details. Also, wasn't able to follow just because of weekend vibes. But yes, moving on from the exploits into XRP went live on Solana. So that's, I would say, a bit of a controversial subject. But yeah, XRP is live for everybody to trade on Solana. I believe that was brought to you by Sunset. I could be wrong on that one. Maybe it was layer 0 or something. But brought to you by the Solana ecosystem that likes to bridge assets, whoever that might be. X and Twitter debuted cash tags with Solana tokens. So that was super interesting to see the combination of the Solana Foundation and the X people, X engineers. I know that they seem to like Solana over there, which is a huge 2 thumbs up for us.
Yep.
Seem to always be even some of the engineers seem to always be pushing some of the Solana stuff. So that's cool. I didn't
We
realize.
need more distribution, and that is, I think, that is where it's lovely to see have people on X who are Solana aligned, and I think we need more people to look into how powerful the network is, which I think a lot of people don't understand how powerful blockchains can be, and that is where I think this cash tags will help us.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting to see distributed systems. It's always interesting to decentralize or how decentralization meets centralization. Obviously, X is hyper centralized, but very cool to see the distribution channel like that kind of hopping on board with Solana. 00, even though I spelt it wrong, apologize. Shipped Edge beta, delivering institutional grade low latency Solana shred market data. Wow, that's a mouthful, but essentially that means these private lines that they have between data centers are now, instead of, that's kind of 00. This is what I gathered, by the way. And Nassim Zahid, please correct me if I'm wrong, but they're utilizing these private lines because they have these unutilized bandwidths that can go between these private lines or off the public kind of network, which is interesting to. I didn't really know much about this world until, funny enough, Japan, where I was introduced to it. So very cool to see 00 really pushing forward in this private infra realm for pushing forward blockchain in general. It's actually not just for Solana, but Solana is a heavy because of the low latency of Solana and fast execution time and settlement time. We obviously benefit probably one of the most out of all the blockchains.
Yep.
Thoughts on 00?
I think Zohib can highlight more on that.
Yeah, we've been having a look at the shred streaming services and all of the good stuff that we have had, but it's still less consumable data for end users and more for validators and operators at that level. And I think with with the future, Solana kind of pushing towards MCP um, uh, and Constellation kind of being discussed at this point. Um, this is going to be a strong base layer for faster confirmations and reducing the overall finalization times. At least for now, like we've had a lot of improvements to the read layer, thanks to a lot of open source contributions and even private data providers kind of upping the game. So for end usage, I think we've had no complaints for quite some time now, and yeah, I think the kind of latencies that we are seeing now with magic blocks is quite fascinating. And the 00, um, right now for end user consumable data streams, they doesn't have like a strong case presented. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
props to the team for pushing it forward, and yeah, looking forward to more. And I think the problem here would be jitter. So if it opens up for a lot of end user public consumption, then you have the same problem that you have with the wider internet and wider data providers kind of suffering with a lot of jitter. So these are like sophisticated, purpose built networks, and I think they serve the purpose best for validators right now.
Validators.
And yeah, looking forward to see a lot more interesting use cases kind of built on top of those services right now.
Yeah, and this definitely is a validator only space as far as like nothing that the end user would be concerned about, and of course like platforms like us would be concerned about. But it furthers the speed of Solana in general. So that is a good thing overall. And then RPC 2.0 went live. Have you guys delved into the Solana Foundation's effort along with Triton, I believe Helios, and some others with this RPC 2.0? I know Triton was pushing it real heavy. Brian over there. Shout out to Brian, always a massive open source contributor. Triton has really pushed forward that space with RPC.
Yep, a lot of recent improvements to the read layer, as disclosed, have come from the efforts put up by Triton, and even Helios has had those services live for a bit, but Triton pushing the contributions in open source have helped a lot. And yeah, we've seen the improvements live. Like there's a lot of great improvements that we have made over the last couple of months on the read layer, thanks to
Yeah,
RPC 2.0 and all of the other efforts in the ecosystem. And yeah, it's visible. Like if you use Flash through mobile, if you've been using Flash on desktop as well, there's a lot of improvement in speed. There's a lot of improvement in transaction landing reliability. So yeah, RPC 2.0 is covering both ends, the read layer as well as transaction confirmation reliability. So yeah,
yeah.
huge props to everyone.
It's a huge plus for developers and of course by that users. So thank you to Triton for being such a good ecosystem partner for Solana. Now, this is super spicy. Okay, so I'm going to explain what we're looking at here. I apologize, I didn't get a better screenshot, but this is V2 network status. So this is a private page at the moment, but we obviously will be releasing this to where anyone can, get to this page in the future once V2 is live. But what we're looking at here is our own internal dashboard where we are actually showing live network health. So right now, slot time is actually 50 milliseconds. You've got the ER ping at 25 milliseconds. So that's server to ER. And then the transaction confirmation is wild, 3 milliseconds. When I said that this is like a crazy amount of speed that we are pushing at the absolute edge, I think people probably were underestimating the sheer speed of this implementation. And the crazy part is this information here that you're looking at on the screen is actually prod. So
This is live right now, and overall, I think there is room for improvement, at least by 10x. This is like just the initial days of the network that
yeah, that's the
is
crazy part.
live, which is fully in sync with Solana. So, yep, very, very promising numbers. And I think in terms of latency, if people are able to co-locate with the server, basically the validator, they'll have no latency. And that's how markets operate as well. If you're talking about NASDAQ or any bigger exchanges, what market makers essentially do is they live beside the main node so that
They
they
own the
have
box.
yeah, they don't have any latency itself, because you can't solve for latency when there is an increase of distance. Even if you are doing radio waves or any sort of fiber net thing, there will always be some latency just because of the travel between two things.
Yeah.
That's how physics works.
Yeah.
And the closer you are to the main node, the faster you will be. And even if you check the structure of Binance or even lighter exchange, the way they try to sort their market makers is by co-locating their you know uh, nodes or servers near the main server of where the exchange runs, so that they have zero latency access to the main exchange.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we compare these numbers right now, when you are trying to do anything on Solana, it takes about something between 300 to 600 milliseconds, which is like if you have the fastest internet connection and no jitter. So easily this is a 10x improvement over that, and we are looking to improve actually 100x, because this is 3 millisecond and we are talking about 300 millisecond. So it's like 100 to 200x improvement.
And just as I know this is said a lot, but this is the first implementation, and this is the worst it's going to be.
Yeah,
Think about that for 1 second. This is the worst it's going to be. Holy cow! We are going to. I can't express to you enough how excited I am. The other thing is that through the testing that we've had so far, like mobile, it just improves everything. It's a one-click in and out. I've been obviously testing with the Seeker phone and my iPhone, and just on mobile alone, like I can tell you, obviously on desktop, it's amazing. It's super sweet. So, but 50% of our users are mobile users. So on mobile, this is insanely fast. And the user experience of just when you want to enter a trade, you can enter the trade. There's no confirmation process. There's no this like fumbling around and all this nonsense. It all gets executed right when you want, and you
you
can
have to
exit
also
right when
add two things basically: no account fees and no transaction fees.
Yeah, insane. No account fees, no transaction fees. And of course, if you caught last week's flash hour, you might have caught a slight blip moment where Anas shared some things, internal talks, but we'll leave it at that. You can go back and watch some of our clips on X. By the way, if you're not following us, what are you doing? Follow us on X, turn on the notifications, and we're on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Smash the like button, leave a comment. Appreciate it. All the social stuff. All right, getting into past the absolute blazingly fast, ridiculous MagicBlock Flash V2 implementation, we are in full testing for Flash V2. So
Yes.
the internal team is, all hands on deck, making sure that all the flows, all the UI elements that you as users demand is all there from day one. Anas, what have we seen so far?
Yep. Since this is a whole new deployment of Flash's engine, there are certain things that we are trying to overcome so that the migration of your current existing structure that you have on Solana is seamlessly ported over to Flash Trade V2 engine.
Mhm.
And that is where the bulk of engineering is going right now, along with making things faster and much more easier to interact, because we want things to be opened up from day one, which is like the API access and all the good stuff that you will build over that API and SDK. So, and I think the most interesting feature for me is like the fees, because the fees is negligible on this instance, because it's so fast and so reliable that we don't have to add those uh, horrible fees that we had to add on, so that because the speeds of transaction was slower. And then just because there is no transaction fees or cost, it's much more. Sorry, I'm on my bed because I twisted my ankle. But yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how epic the technology is, and it has taken us our own fair share of time to come to where we are. And we are very, very, like, even the team internally is very excited about it, because the experience is like you can't get this experience anywhere else, because the fees and the leverage are epic. And I think it's going to be a heaven for a lot of traders. And the idea is basically now to harden this thing, because it's a fully beta network, and we have to make sure the uptimes, the logging, the notification system, the risk systems. So that is where we are right now, investing and working towards. So yeah, that is where Flash Trade V2 testing is, and along that, working close in hand on how we go out with it, which is the launch strategy, and make sure it creates the biggest bang, and at least everyone in the ecosystem tries the experience once or twice, and then depending on their experience, we would love to have a higher retention rate of all the people who use that, the Flash Trade UI, to use the V2 engine. But overall, the direction is being laid out on how do we go out with it, and how we make sure this deployment is worthy of using. And a lot of people should be excited and have things on Flash Trade that they will stick around. That is where we are thinking deeply on how do we make the UI, how do we make the UX, what do we offer, what leverages we offer, what fees we offer, and how we make this whole package of an experience uh, in such a way that people don't ever go anywhere else once they see Flash.trade.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I'm just this is from like a no BS. I don't understand why you would go anywhere else when we're going to have a ton of equities, forex, commodities. You have all your crypto needs right, like right there. I what the hell else do you want? Instant execution, in and out of trades, and I mean literally milliseconds. There, it's going to be wild. Obviously, with the fees, those will be extremely reduced as well. And then the other thing is like development. If somebody wants to develop over top of us, we're going to try our best to have the same exact experience for that as well. So, what are I don't know. So this is a genuine question. What are the thoughts on allowing that kind of thing on top of V2? Is that going to be something that we allow, or with V2s, because that could really help out with like high frequency trading. I mean, now you're talking about some serious execution.
Yep.
Absolutely, and I think that's where we've spent most of our efforts on the engineering end. Like, it's not about um, just having different network access and then like you trying to place trades. We've added session handling, so where you can request a session token. So
Mhm.
that session token now kind of enables you to sign on your behalf for all trades. What this means is you have your funds and then you've deposited your funds from your main wallet, and now a session token can establish the link between an authority that signs for your use case. So this not only enables like agentic
Oh, 100%.
development for all of your trades, but also opens up to a lot of exchange class API support where you just take an access token and then now you're able to kind of validate all of your trades. You don't have to worry about paying Solana fee or fees in base token for Sol or anything. All of the trades are marked free. You just have to kind of execute a signature using the session token and you're set. So that's like a class apart from having to validate a key pair, holding Sol in it, using it to go in and execute your trades. All of that is abstracted away, and that kind of adds on to this idea of a lot lower latency and a lot smoother UX, not just from a UI standpoint, but from a trading setup experience that we offer. So all of it is going to is coming together as a centralized exchange level API support for trades, and that opens up the doors for a lot of experimentation, and a lot of traders are going to love it.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. The comp, all traders are gonna love it. Yeah, with the advent of like agentic trading, I know. Matter of fact, I actually had some people reach out to me. They were talking about using like MCP with Claude. I mean, totally up to you. It's your, it's how whatever you like to trade with. So it's pretty amazing that that same exact seamless experience that you kind of demand through the MCP will be available with V2. Passkey is live. What is Passkey and why does it matter?
Yes, it's a very neat feature for logging into FlashTrade and managing your account. It basically uses the onboard verification system that Apple and most of the new Android devices have, which basically uses your auth, which is your Face ID or Touch ID stored right into the CPU of your mobile phones, and through that a wallet is derived, and the private keys always remain on your own device. It does not leave. And the most interesting thing about pass keys on Apple is, like, if you generate a a wallet through passkey on your one device, you can interact with that same wallet on another device if you are
Mm-hmm.
sharing the same iCloud account. So it makes that seamless experience, and you don't have to remember your private keys, nor the password, nor any gibberish. You just have to show your face or put your fingerprint on your MacBook. So that's what it takes. So it's a very neat feature. I would love people to go ahead on flash.trade, and if they click login, they'll see this shiny button which asks them to log in with passkey, and just that's it. You'll get started with creating a wallet that is attached to your hardware, that is right on your mobile devices or laptops.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same user experience that you would expect with any major platform out there. So obviously, if you're interacting with a centralized platform right now, you're very aware of how Passkey works. That was kind of a tongue in cheek to get Anas to explain it. But yeah, I mean, Passkey it's the typical user flow, and like I've been saying for probably the last 3 weeks, is that we're an exchange. We are not a crypto exchange. So we are here to play with the big guys now. And we want to offer all of the same user flow that typical users of an exchange would expect. And this is one more step to secure it on their side. Obviously, security first. We're very cognizant of that. And this will allow for that seamless onboarding. Epoch ending rewards. That was terribly worded. That's my fault. That's the janitor's fault. But the epoch has ended and rewards were distributed. So this was what, epoch 11 or 12? Dang it.
11.
11. Okay. I knew I was close. So Epoch 11 has finalized. Epoch 12 is here. All right, guys. So now what you should do, if you are not, is register at the bare minimum. If you are registered, if you're already using Flash Trade, register. Just register with your wallet. It allows you to earn VP points. Yes, it's not as much as if you were to stake FAF, but if you'd like to stake some FAF, you can stake FAF and earn those extra rewards for all of your activity on the Flash Trade platform. And this next upcoming epoch, fight your way to the top of the leaderboard and get your share of the epoch ending rewards for next month. This is a monthly thing that pays out at the end of the epoch. So now we're at the start. You're at the starting line, and you can fight your way up on the leaderboard.
For sure.
V2 launch
Yep,
strategy.
and for a quick correction, was
Oh, go ahead.
It's 13 here.
this was Epoch 12 and 13 started now. And yeah, as per schedule, we'll have a couple more months of the same rewards being continued.
So correction, it's epoch. Apologize, it was epoch 12. No, all right, epoch 13 has started. So 13, the lucky number 13. I'm looking at you. You got this. You could be at the top of the leaderboard and earn your share of the FAF distribution. So, but the UI launch strategy plus, plus UI upgrade, sorry. We're going through right now. It's basically just a V2. We're working through how we want to launch it, what the UI should look like, how the onboarding process should look like, and some of our beta, or I guess it would be alpha testers really, but beta testers, alpha testers, however you want to call yourself, it's up to you. But the testers that will be brought on board, which are our power users, will kind of get to see this first, and we're working through that strategy right now in parallel with the finishing touches to the V2 deployment. Did you want to touch on any of those points, sir?
Not much. As I said, like we are currently working on the updates, and we want to make sure the UI looks fabulous as you are, you know, interacting with this very neat implementation of Flash Trade's V2 engine.
Yeah, and we really want the thing that we're working through the most is obviously what's the strategy for like obviously launch, and then what's the strategy from launch to onboard users into the V2 program to where it's just like we said, it's just that seamless user flow, and then they're able to understand exactly how V2 works, even though it's kind of self-explanatory if you've used Flash Trade before, but there is some nuance to it. Like creating your account and or depositing into your account, I should say.
Yes.
So there will be some things like that are a little bit different, but it's the same exact user UI that you're accustomed to when dealing with Flash Trade, since we do have the best UI in the business.
Yep.
My favorite section, Flash Trade B2 Alpha Group. Okay, we are calling it Alpha Group. That's my bad. You're all alphas. What is the Alpha Group all about? I actually participated in the first Alpha Group. So what's that all about?
Yep. So as you were talking about the V2 deployment, the deployment is going to be very interesting because it's going to offer a lot of assets at the cheapest possible fees and the highest leverage. So I think the power users of Flash Trade are finally going to be the first users of these neat features that are live on V2. They'll be prompted right on the UI as they are using Flash Trade right now, and then given access to this deployment where they would be able to use the V2 deployment at the most interesting fees and leverage, and hoping to have very interesting assets as well. So that is the thing that is coming, and we are working on it to make that experience so interesting that you're going to talk with all of your friends to start using Flash Trade, because it's much more better than anything else out there. And yeah, that is Flash Trade V2 Alpha Group that is gonna be coming soon.
And by the way, this is not promises. This is what I want to get across to people. All right.
Okay.
We
Yep.
deliver here at Flash Trade. This is not promises. This is the real deal. Okay. We're
Yep.
not like putting out fancy stuff on the timeline where people are like, oh, look, this is what's coming. We're going to have this awesome thing and we're not really sure how we're going to do it, but it's coming and it's going to be the most amazing thing ever. This is real. This is live. This is actionable. You can get your hands on it here in probably a week or 2 weeks.
Yep. I really don't like to give dates, because whenever I give a date, it does not work out. It's like some sort of
That's
voodoo magic around
actually
my.
fair.
I don't know, but yeah, I'm not gonna give any dates.
All right, no dates, but soon, for real.
Yep.
For real this time. Yeah, very, very soon. So obviously, if you're in our Discord already, if you've been around, you know that we're there. We'll be notifying all of our users, alpha group users, of who will be involved with it. So they will be duly notified when this rolls out. Funding mechanism, we've talked about this a few times. This was simply just put on the back burner for the rollout of V2, but it's an interesting novel concept of where shorts pay longs, longs pay shorts, so that we can balance out the open interest on the platform so that not everything skews long and not everything skews short. It's just a very interesting novel concept. Did you all want to elaborate on that, or you think that's good?
I think that was great, and overall, we are working towards novel mechanisms and novel structures, because I think that's the way we move forward. And we love working on these kind of systems which haven't been done, and I think that's what sets us apart at Flash Trade, and that's how our legacy has been so far, where we try to do things that haven't been done. So, and yeah, funding mechanism on a pool to peer engine is gonna be an epic one as well.
It really will. It is one of the more interesting things that I'm very much so looking forward to, since this is my favorite section of Flash Hour. Funding mechanism, especially the novel concept that it is super interesting to me that this is possible on pool to peer. Zahib is obviously, and the engineering team, they are like the most passionate I've ever seen in my entire life. I could not be more proud to be the janitor here at the head of custodial services at Flash Trade. I am yet but just a fly on the wall. I am nothing when it comes to these guys. They are the visionaries, and funding mechanism, a novel funding mechanism, will be really, really interesting to be on top of everything else that they've built here at Flash Trade. So can't wait for V2 to be live. And of course, matter of fact, I'm viewing something that you cannot view. Not yet, sir. I'm viewing the V2 deployment. And it does seem like we've got some assets on here that are not on main. So with more assets, see that transition? That was smooth, right? I'm getting better at this. Yeah. The more assets, what does that mean exactly? So more assets means that, realistically, if traders want it, we can list it. Is that not true?
Yes. That is the direction overall, and I think this whole move with V2 was also to get more freedom around what we want to do, because every time we wanted to do something, I always had this thing from Zoheb. He has to, like, there are constraints around the virtual engine of Solana, and you can't do this, you can't do that, because it's a public blockchain overall. And once you have a public blockchain, you have to move in a system, because if you start doing stupid things, it would affect the whole network. So they try to keep everything under constraint, and that affects the application and what it could provide. And even now, if you see the top 5 or at least top 5 perpetual exchanges that are live, everyone is on their own instance. They are not running on public blockchains, and that is how exchanges are going to function as we transcend into the future, because public blockchains can serve as the last sort of secure layer where you put all the transactions, and can be the verifiable layer, but it cannot be the execution layer. That is my 2 cents, and I might be wrong, but given my journey of building things and trading on chain for almost now 7 to 8 years, I believe that public blockchains won't be able to serve a full-fledged exchange, and this is the direction that we have taken it as well.
And to be fair, you're talking about like a high speed like trading platform where
Yes.
seconds matter, milliseconds matter. That's what
Yes.
you're talking about. Because
Yeah.
for the typical thing like lending and borrowing, minting NFTs, stuff like that, obviously totally fine where latency is not as much of a constraint. But with something like a high frequency trading platform, it's different. I mean, you need your own infra from validator up. Am I not wrong?
Yes.
I mean, this is kind of how
True.
Liquid did it, and others have or are trying to do it now.
That's right, and I think what we've seen on Solana as well has been there are a lot of moving parts right now. If you look at the developer landscape, there's a drastic shift in how things work. We're talking of like a different paradigm of frameworks. We've seen Quasa, we've seen Anchor V2, and there's a lot of developer drama around
There is.
the basic tooling that you see. But then eventually, like what none of those. I mean, I'm a big fan of all of the great contributors all across, but those systems are not in a phase where you can put them to prod. And I don't think there's any team kind of willing to take up the risk with millions of dollars in TVL to kind of put it to the destined prod. So that's what's holding a lot of great stuff back. We've had prop AMMs who found great success in coding spot markets, but again, perps is a specialized environment where you can't function similar to how you would do with Spot and kind of plug in to aggregators and kind of call it a day. That's where I think we're finding a lot of improvements with Magic Block implementation that we've got and the path forward as we see it. And yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity in terms of what's the feature gate activation schedule on mainnet.
Well,
SIMD
that's fair.
296, I think we're all in the waiting room, and yeah, waiting for Agave 4.0 to be mainstreamed.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of good stuff on testnet and devnet, but yeah, keeping fingers crossed. And yeah, instead of waiting for things to align in our favor, we keep the experimentation on with ample amount of security and focus on safety. So that's what Magic Block's been allowing us to work on, and make things easier for our users while we wait for the network to also catch up.
Yeah, yeah. Can you elaborate real quick? And I know you don't have to give away the ghost or anything, but what we haven't gone over it in quite a few weeks. But what is so powerful about Magic Blocks? What's up with the block ordering and all of that that we can do with Magic Blocks? Like, what's the why is it such a great implementation in this way with like the actual technicals? And I apologize if I'm a bit retarded when it comes to that.
No, I think there's a lot of material that's missing in space for people to understand ephemeral rollups, and yeah, partly to be blamed for that. But yeah, it's all about having an ephemeral validator which can clone all of the state that you have on mainnet, and allow you to kind of have your specialized SVM
Mhm.
to structure your trades, have your own idea of application controlled execution, ACE and BAM, and all of those things that we talk about. The problem with all of these solutions, as we see in mainnet, is the the fragmentation or diversification, as people call it, of the validator clients.
Yeah.
Magic Blocks allows us to kind of have our own set of rules dedicated on top of what the SVM already provides. So you have a validator who's running a modified version of Agave's latest release, and they have this runtime enforced parameterization. So like this is not just like a parallel SVM run separate to mainnet. You literally have every account originate on mainnet and then be delegated to the ER. So it's account level abstraction. So your accounts and programs, if you've got an idea of how it works, the ownership of an account decides like what program can update the state of a given account. So you have like positions, you have custodies, and all of these state accounts being managed on Flash, for instance. What Magic Blocks allows us to do is move parts of the whole architectural layout to the specialized validators, which can modify your state in a predetermined set of rules, like application control execution, where you can determine, all right, my Oracle updates needs to go in first. My liquidations need to be prioritized. My
Yeah.
order fills and my market orders kind of need to be put into a certain order. All of those rules are enforceable, and that's using the same exact execution bytecode that you have already posted on mainnet. So
Wow.
without any kind of change in execution behavior, you get this like higher speed, lower latency, and infinitely better bandwidth, because this is your own controlled environment. You're not fighting for inclusion. You're not paying extra as end users to kind of to overcome auctions and pay the highest priority fee or pay tips to be included. You're
Mm,
almost guaranteed execution the moment you sign and send a transaction. And once you have your state updated and once you've taken a trade and now you want to settle back, you can just request a commit to be sent back to mainnet, updating the state in the finalized form. So your inclusion is guaranteed before you can guarantee the transaction to be landed on mainnet and the commit to be succeeded. So what this allows us to do is like you can have like millions of orders being matched and executed, and then being posted to mainnet in a commit, which is atomic. So this allows us
wow.
to retain the asset custody. Let's say token accounts. Like token accounts are not managed by us, so they remain on mainnet. That state cannot be modified. I cannot change how much tokens you own or owe the protocol. All of
Yeah.
that's accounted on mainnet. That's not moving anywhere. While all of the other execution related to state transitions on Flash's program are handled by the ER. So it's that structural guarantee that the accounts originate on mainnet, and then you have a transfer of ownership from Flash program or anyone who's interacting with the ERs. The program needs to transfer the token owner, the account ownership to delegate program, which is run on mainnet. And once you have the ownership transfer complete, which is called delegation, you can start interacting with the state in the specialized ephemeral rollup environment with permissionless ability to undelegate and commit at your own free will. So that's a paradigm shift in how we look at network extensions or this the specialized environment, which supercharges all of our application controlled flows and like allows us to operate with zero fees for end users while we cover the fees for all of the transactions being posted to mainnet.
And then this just so that I can kind of mental framework this out for me is basically what we're doing is the actual word ephemeral. Ephemeral means that it's temporary. So it's this temporary runtime environment where we're able to structure everything that basically the way that we want, just like you said, with like the price feeds, liquidations, everything ordered correctly in the way that we would like. So that everything executes correctly, and then immediately, again, ephemeral, so it's just temporary, it settles right back onto mainnet. Is that correct?
That's right. You can commit or you can wait. Let's say if you are certain you close the trade, because on perps you can't carry forward your trades to other platforms, you can wait to close, and then you'll be incurring no transaction cost for Sol as fees. But then, if you want to commit and if you want the guarantees of mainnet, then yeah, there's a cost to pay, and you can always commit everything back to mainnet.
Yeah, which is wild. Yeah, that's so crazy. All right, now that we have the technical breakdown for my simpleton self, did you gentlemen want to add anything else to, as we're coming up here the last 3 minutes, add anything else for our viewers?
Not much. I think keep an eye out for the alpha group, and excited to have magic trade, as we refer to it, in your hands, ready to be tested, and the final migration to have all of our current pools and markets be moved to ephemeral rollups from MagicBlock.
Yeah, I couldn't even, I can't, I'm at a loss for words. I cannot express how excited I am that this vision of our founders and of the team has finally really come to fruition. It is here. I expressed this last week, but you can't get me more excited than I am now. I've never been more positive in my entire life when it comes to the state of flash trade and where we are right now when it comes to our direction and the we're executing. I said this last week. We do not, like, we're not a bunch of bluster and marketing here. We ship every single week. If you saw the video that I made for you all, that's on the X timeline. It was one of those, we ship every week. And boy, could that not be more true with the MagicBlock, but Flash Trade V2 implementation. Can't wait for you all to get your hands on it. Of course, Alpha Group is going to be getting their hands on it first, so can't wait to see their feedback in our Alpha Group channel. But thank you all for, of course, watching Flash Hour every single week at 4 p.m. UTC. Get involved if you haven't. Oh, that's my alarm telling me to hush and move this along. But thank you to everyone who tunes in every single week. If you have not, get involved in our Discord channel. We constantly are actually improving the Discord channel as well to make sure that we have top-notch security around everything Discord related. As probably many know, is that that is a point of contention with the community. But every single week we're making sure that that's tightened up. So join in there, get involved in the discussion. You can get involved in the normal chat. If you are a FAF staker, you will have a kind of prioritized channel for you, a private channel. And then from there, of our Alpha Group users, kind of our power users on Flash Trade, we will be promoting them into another group, which will be picked here shortly, of Alpha Group users that will get their or be able to get their hands on V2 first, so that we can iron out any kinks that they may be having, and then get it deployed to the broader Solana ecosystem. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't mind, leave a like, leave a comment, do all the social stuff. If you're on YouTube, of course, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and drop that comment for me, as that is a growing channel that we are trying to keep up with here at Flash Trade. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, traders, I'll see you in the markets.